Huracán Fiona al siguiente día de pasar.
Donde está el refugio, las personas refugiadas ya en esta zona. Vamos a andar sobrevolando por diferentes áreas.
Y hasta las estrellas de mar cayeron en esta área. Miren esto.
Luego vamos para Cataño, Comerío, Naranjito y toda la zona de la montaña, luego lo hice.
Look at that sort of short movement there is basically pushing down, pulling forwards, pushing down, pulling forwards, just drawing this down. There we go. Now that plug's going. Look at it hanging on. Even when we're trying to get it out, we're in a much bigger space. It just wants to stick everywhere. There we go. Just shoved it under. Right. Let's keep everything crossed. It's clear all the way down the eardrum. Yeah, there we go. There's the eardrum. So this is what it looked like to start with. You can see absolutely chock-a-block with sticky wax. And this is what it looks like afterwards. And then we've got to do it all again on the other side. You can see the depression in the middle of that. Now that is a classic Q-tip depression right in the center. It's pushed in a little bit further. In fairness to this chap, I did say, Joe, do you use Q-tips? And he said, yes, I do. I said, well, yeah, you can kind of tell. But it's just gone very, very deep. Now, what I'm hoping is going to happen here is the same as on the other side. I'm hoping it's not going to have gone deeper, deep enough to have actually stuck to the drum, because that is a real difficult one to do. Now at the moment I can't see the canal walls particularly clearly, so I'm working on this section at the bottom here. The reason that it looks a little bit tougher than the rest, and we can just start to see it pulling away from the canal wall. You would get that little glimpse of the pink canal wall underneath there. Just pulling from one side to the other. There we go, slowly working this around, just unsticking from the canal wall all the way down. There we go. Look at how sticky that is. It is. I find it difficult. I don't know. I'm always trying to reverse stuff to foodstuffs because most people have seen that kind of food stuff. It's really hard. It's almost like okay. If you're in the UK, it's the inside part of a fig roll. If you're in the US, it's the inside part of a fig Newton. If you've ever broken those apart and it kind of stretches, but it's quite soft yet, it can be a little bit solid and grainy in the middle and really sticky and tacky. That's what we're dealing with here. It's horrible old stuff to take away. I've managed to peel so far down the canal. I think we did try and put a little bit of olive oil in at this point, but unfortunately the olive oil just sat on the cilia right at the entrance of the canal, but didn't get down too much further. That's a layer of kind of dry skin there. Now, because it's been squished with the cotton bud, with the Q-tip, it's been pushed into the center, and what it's effectively done is expanded it all out, so it's all like that and stuck to the canal walls all the way around, which means that when we're using that kind of wiggling motion, we have to detach it from one side of the canal wall to be able to get it moving. And ideally then you can sort of walk it down the canal. We can't do this with this type of wax. It's so firmly squished against all canal walls in all directions that as soon as you try and move it one way, that's all you're affecting.
And sing this little song. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run.
About how my boyfriend cheated on me with the girl best friend. So like I said, she would still hang all over him, and he pretty much told me, if you don't like that, then you can leave. Obviously, I did not want to leave because I liked him and he was my boyfriend. So I just kept putting up with it, and eventually, you know, we got 6 months into our relationship. So at that point, I'm thinking maybe I have a little bit more authority, you know, to be like, hey, I don't like the way that she acts around you. You guys can't hang out like that anymore. And they would hang out alone together. He would take her to dinner. I literally tried telling him that the stuff that they do together is relationship stuff. And he was like, that's not true at all, because we did all this stuff before you and I even got together. So anyways, like I said, 6 months in, I'm like, hey, I don't like the way that you guys are hanging around each other. Once again, he gives me the same excuse. So he pretty much said that he didn't care. And the one night him and I were supposed to hang out, but he canceled on me last minute. And her and I didn't get along, and she never Snapchatted me before, but then I get a Snapchat of her and him making out at his house.